Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Izzowned by Dantonio podcast, episode 4. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it with the Sparty news. So, the men's basketball today defeated Oakland 86-73. Again, I thought this would be sort of a trap game for our team, coming off a finals week, and against a really good Oakland team. You saw them today. They really played well. They had some really good shooters on the floor. So at one point, they made like 10 in a row, it seemed like. And it seemed like Michigan State had no answer. But at the end, they pulled out the win, and that was a good way to get it really started. Because when you look at it, you saw, the way they played. They didn't play very well. They turned the ball over way too many times. And but it was a good win, and great teams win games like that against other good teams. I know they're in the Horizon Conference, but they got a really good coach. He's been coaching there for a long time. And, they're kind of a semi-rival. The games are always close. And other athletics also started today. But we're going to focus on the Michigan State Oakland game and the Michigan Detroit Mercy game. So let's get right into the Hitachi Basketball Showcase 2017. Michigan, of course, defeated Detroit Mercy 90-58. Michigan was clearly the better team in that one. Detroit Mercy is a terrible team. There's a reason why Detroit Mercy was picked to be 10th in the Horizon Conference. And you know what? There are 10 teams in the Horizon Conference, which means Detroit Mercy was picked to finish last, whilst Oakland was picked to finish first in the Horizon Conference. And you saw difference between Oakland and Detroit Mercy. Oakland was clearly the better team than Detroit Mercy, and Michigan got an easy win because they played a team which was probably one of the worst teams in the country. And you see their schedule coming up. They got some really easy games coming up for the Wolverines. And let's bring Smug Michigan fan into this thing pretty quickly. So Smug Michigan fan, how did you feel about the Michigan win over Detroit Mercy? Oh my God, what a big win that was. No Mo Wagner, no problem. Oh my goodness. Oh, John Beeline, the job he did was just unbelievable. Oh my goodness, he outcoached Tom Izzo so bad. I mean, Detroit Mercy was such a good team. They have one of our guys transfer there, and everybody knows if you go to Michigan, you are a great player. So when you transfer there, you're always a great player. And boy, John Beeline, oh, what a great coach he is. And Tom Izzo, all Tom Izzo does is choke every year. Tom Izzo, he just sucks so bad. Oh, really? Well, Michigan played a terrible team. Oh, no. Detroit Mercy is a really good team. Every team that Michigan plays, it's just a great team. It's a great team because John Beeline schedules the hardest teams he can to play his team. You saw, oh my goodness, Texas. Texas was one of the best teams I've ever seen. Yeah, that's why Texas is mediocre and may not even make the tournament, especially when you look at them in the Big 12. They might be the seventh or eighth best team in the Big 12. No. Texas is their top 3 team in the Big 12. They are. They're a really good team. Them and Kansas are right at the top. Oh my goodness, what a win that was. Okay then, well, and oh my goodness, UCLA, what a great team they are. Yeah, and that's why the Pac-12 is the worst Power 6 conference out there, right? No. What are you talking about? UCLA is a really great team. Oh my goodness, UCLA. Oh, what a comeback that was. Yeah, well, Michigan State would have won that game by 30. No. Michigan State's one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. They are so bad. They suck so bad. They can't shoot. They suck at rebounding. Oh my goodness, they suck so bad. Rutgers let them off the hook, and Oakland let them off the hook. Oh my goodness, they should have been 0 for their last 3 games. Southern Utah let them off the hook too. Oh my goodness, Michigan State's a terrible team, while Michigan will go undefeated the rest of the way. Oh, okay then. So, how did you think about Michigan State's performance against Oakland? Oh, Michigan State, they sucked so bad. I watched that game start to finish. Dude, they couldn't shoot. They couldn't play defense. Oakland was making like every shot because Michigan State's defense is the worst in the country. Yeah, that's why they're ranked number 1 in defense in the country, right? No, no, stats lie. Stats are not real because Michigan is clearly the best team in the country. Yeah, that's why they gave up 75 to LSU in a loss. No, we don't talk about the LSU game. That was early in the season. That was across time zones. And Michigan should have won that game anyway. Yeah, but LSU had to go across time zones too. It's not like both teams. It's not like one team was in their backyard. Yeah, but Michigan, they just weren't ready for that game. They're way better than LSU. And LSU is such a great team. LSU is so good. Yeah, that's why they're picked to finish last in the SEC. Oh, whoever made that is just, he's so wrong. How dare you? How dare you pick LSU to be last? They're a tournament team. Are they now? Are they a tournament team? Yeah. Well, no, they're not. They're not a tournament team. Oh no, yes they are. Yes they are. They are a tournament team. And that Ohio State game. Oh, that Ohio State game. Ohio State cheated. They cheat in football and they cheat in basketball. The refs were clearly on their side. JT was short and Ohio State was short in this game. And guess what? The refs decided to give the game to Ohio State because the fans were making them feel uncomfortable and they just wanted to win the game. Okay, smug Michigan fan. Thank you for your great intel. Okay, go blue. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the Big Ten power rankings for this week. Michigan State sits at the top. If I could, I would put Michigan State number 1, Michigan State number 2, Michigan State number 3, Michigan State number 4, and Purdue number 5. But I can't do that. Michigan State is clearly the best team in the Big Ten. Purdue had a really nice win over Butler today. And they're getting a little bit closer. Purdue's a really good team. Ohio State number 3. Just they've been winning games. They went to Madison. Madison's a hard place to win. It doesn't matter how good Wisconsin is, and they won the game. And then they beat Michigan, so had to put Ohio State there. Minnesota number 4. Minnesota up and down so far. They had a loss against Miami at home, which they probably should have won, and they almost lost to Alabama with 3 players on the court. So, but they're still a good team. Put them number 4. Michigan number 5. Again, Michigan, pretty good team. There are some holes. They're not a very good defensive team, and they're hot and cold from 3. If they aren't hitting the 3, they're losing the game, which, kind of concerns me. When they play in Big Ten play, they're either going to be really hot or really cold, which could hurt them. The top 5 teams I have right now are tournament teams. The teams below Rutgers and Maryland are on the bubble right now. Northwestern, not sure about them. Rutgers had a great win over Seton Hall. I put them from number 9 all the way up to number 6 with that win. And they played Michigan State really tough. And Minnesota, they got blown out there. But Rutgers is a sleepy team. They are. And Maryland 10-3, kind of a decent start for Maryland. They've got some things they need to get a little bit better. But they'll be an okay team. Maryland will. And Penn State, Penn State's an okay team. They started 8-3. Almost had a big win over Texas. They couldn't quite get it. Northwestern, disappointing start of the season for Northwestern. Nebraska was picked to finish last in the Big Ten by most people, and they've done okay so far. A couple of transfers coming in for them, and they're okay. They are number 10. Illinois number 11, just because they're 8-4 start. They would be at number 14, but they're not. They're only at number 11 because the teams below them. Indiana, Archie Miller, not the start they wanted. They almost got an upset over Duke, but really, that opening night loss to Indiana State is looking worse and worse as Indiana State continues to lose. Iowa and Wisconsin. Iowa wasn't expected to be a good team at all. And Wisconsin. Wisconsin has played one of the toughest schedules of anybody out there, so 5-7, it's one of the best 5-7 records out there, but you can't get blown out by Ohio State and be higher than 14 in the Big Ten power rankings. And they did beat Penn State on the road, which is a very good win for them. But right now, they're at 14 just because they're miserable start to the season. So let's move on. Let's move on to college football, and let's talk about the Big Ten bowl predictions. I'm going to start with the 3 smaller bowls. How about the Foster Farms Bowl between Purdue and Arizona? I have Arizona winning that game 42-21. And again, I think Purdue's an okay team, but Khalil Tate, man, and Rich Rod, we know how successful he was at Michigan, but no, he's having a good year at Arizona. I think Arizona's a clear favorite in this one. I got the Wildcats winning that thing pretty big. Their offense, Purdue hasn't really faced anybody like them. Maybe, they did play Lamar Jackson earlier this year, and they did lose to Lamar Jackson. I expect the same thing to happen with Khalil Tate. The Pinstripe Bowl, I like Boston College in this game. Iowa's just way too inconsistent for me. A.J. Dillon's a really good runner for the Eagles. I like the Eagles in this game. If Nathan Stanley can get it going, maybe I'll give Iowa a better chance. But right now, they lost to Purdue at home. And, I know Purdue's a bowl team, but Iowa, you can't lose like that. And, Iowa's so close. They're so close to being a 10-win team. They are, or at least playing for a 10-win team. They almost beat Penn State. That would make them 8-4. And then if they beat Purdue, that would make them 9-3 and maybe get to a 10-win season. But it didn't happen, so. But, Eagles, I just think, they've been playing outstanding this year. I think their coach is an okay coach. Both these coaches match up pretty similarly. I like the Eagles in this one. All right, the Music City Bowl, December 29th, Northwestern and Kentucky. I like the Purple Wildcats over the Blue Wildcats in this one. The Blue Wildcats have not played very well at all over the past couple of weeks. They started pretty well with the win over South Carolina early. And, once they got upset by Florida, and they had a chance to beat Florida at the end, and Luke Del Rio brought Florida down the field to win that game. They just been faltering, and that blowout loss to Louisville at the end of the season does not look good right now. Northwestern's playing excellent defense and excellent offense. I like the Purple Wildcats over the Blue Wildcats, 38-23. Let's move on to the bigger Big Ten bowls. We'll start with the Outback Bowl. I like Michigan in this game over South Carolina, and that's because I think Michigan is a better team than South Carolina. And I look at it, Michigan's defense is suffocating. Their offense is mediocre. I think Brandon Peters, he's an okay quarterback. I think he'll do all right. I just don't see how South Carolina is going to score. And you saw what they did against Clemson. They were just demolished by Clemson's defense. And I thought maybe Michigan's defense is better than Clemson's defense, possibly, which maybe not. But Wolverines, it'll be a comfortable win for Michigan. Fiesta Bowl. I like the Huskies over the Nittany Lions, and I'll tell you why. The Huskies have one of the best run defenses in the league, and they have a really good defense in general. I mean, I look at them, and they really, they did get upset by Arizona State in Tempe, and they did lose to Stanford in a chance to go to the Pac-12 championship game. But their run defense is really good, and Jake Browning, he's still sitting there. He's still a good quarterback. He's got Dante Pettis. Miles Gaskin's a really good running back. I think they'll run the ball a lot. I like Washington in this game over Penn State. So Huskies 35, Nittany Lions 31. I like the Huskies in this game. Saquon Barkley, might be neutralized in this game. Force McSorley to throw the ball, and McSorley, he's been playing well this year. We just haven't heard his name as much as we did last year because there wasn't that one big win that the Lions had this year. I like Washington in this game. Orange Bowl. We got two teams that many people say are overrated, Wisconsin and Miami. I like Wisconsin in this game. I think Miami is overrated. I think they're one of the most overrated teams in the country. Why is that? Because their defense is average and their offense is just slightly above average. Two above average units is not going to win you anything. You got to have either a really good offense, a really good defense, or both. All right, you can't have your offense score 7 points against Pitt. You can't do that and expect to win. So, Badgers, I think they'll run the ball pretty comfortably. I think Jonathan Taylor will get plenty of yards on the ground, maybe a couple of touchdowns as well. Badgers have a really good defense, and to only give up Ohio's 27 to Ohio State is pretty dang good. And I think Ohio State clearly has a better offense than Miami. I like the Badgers in this one, 27-17. The Cotton Bowl. Now, this is going to be an old-fashioned shootout. And the reason why I'm taking the Buckeyes over the Trojans is because I think their quarterback turns the ball over less. When I look at both running backs, both teams have really, really, really good running backs. Ronald Jones for the Trojans, really good. And you talk about J.K. Dobbins and Mike Weber for the Buckeyes, just explosive runners on both sides. And both quarterbacks are really good. I think, Ohio State's quarterback is better. And I like Ohio State's defense better than the USC defense. So, I think it'll be a shootout. I like JT Barrett to go out with a win in his final game as a Buckeye. Finally, for the Holiday Bowl. Boy, I don't know what to think about this game. Which Washington State and which Michigan State is going to show up in this game? I think Mark Dantonio will have his team ready. I think Mike Leach, is it going to be another Cal? Because Michigan State is a similar team to Cal. I mean, they're a lot better than Cal. Cal just destroyed them because their defense, forced Luke Falk to throw the ball, and Luke Falk turned it over a bunch of times. Luke Falk was good this year, 13th in the FBS in passing. He was dreadful in some games. Some games he was just dreadful, and we don't know which Luke Falk is going to show up. If it was a Luke Falk from last year in the Holiday Bowl, I like Michigan State pretty comfortably, but it's not. And, Mike Leach in bowl games has not been great. His teams have not been great in bowl games. I like the Spartans in this game. I like their defense. I like Brian Lewerke in this game. I do think the Spartans have a slight edge at quarterback with Brian Lewerke. And they do have better running backs as well, and their defense is better than the Cougars. All right, but the Cougars do have a very underrated defense. I do like Michigan State in this game. It's either going to be really close, or Michigan State might win this thing comfortably, or maybe the Cougars get a victory. Maybe Luke Falk has a career day, but I like Michigan State in this one in the Holiday Bowl. All right, that's going to do it for episode 4 of the Izzowned by Dantonio podcast. I'm going to be interviewed by a Michigan fan later today, and maybe, I will just school him about what it takes to really be, who really is the best team in the state of Michigan, and I will school him on that. So I'll talk about how that went next time. But thank you everybody for watching, and go Green.